United, we're stronger, and divided, we're playing right into the puppet master's plan.
They don't want people to come together. I don't know how else to say it. They do not want prisoners of all races to get along. It doesn't matter, because once you get along, you're not fighting each other. You are more aware and focused on what's going on around you. And then you see what the shady authorities are doing, and they don't want that. If they got people fighting each other, you ain't worried about what other shit. You're trying to save your life. You know, they're going out there still stabbing people. And so we're here. I'm starting to hear these stories that there are some of these cops think that what happened was a joke or something. Of course, not to my face, but like I said, when I got my 115, so that's when I knew there was, something, I believe something weird was happening. And everybody knows now that I had my back broke, fractured a vertebrae, fractured my jaw in two places, knocked out, not only knocked out my teeth, knocked the gums with the 4 teeth in it, came off my jawbone and blew out my eardrum on my left side. Well, I got my six stitches in my chin. Trying to throw that thermal shirt, this dude slammed me on my face and caused all those injuries. Well, since then, my neighbor, they threatened my neighbor because it happened right in front of his cell. I didn't even know him. He was an African-American dude. Got at my vent, said, dude, I've seen the whole thing. Called me as a witness, so I called him as a witness. He never even told me what he was going to say. So they called him out, and he told him, well, afterwards, after he gave a statement to my IE, that same night, they were taking him to the yard. One of the SEALs told him, oh, well, be careful, we don't want you to trip and fall and not get your teeth knocked out. So, to me, when my neighbor, like 2 days later, we went outside, he was in the cage next to me, he told me what happened. I was like, what? My neighbor, he's gone now. He gave a statement to whatever he seen that day, that weirdo slammed me on my butt while I was handcuffed. But there's several COs telling me and my 2 neighbors this shit that happened, because they're in here every day, so they're worried about retaliating, right? So they're telling, they're saying how foul it was that what this dude did. So they're trying. It's like an appeasement thing, because I'm hearing these things and they're telling my neighbors that because they know my neighbors are my friends. After the incident happened with that weirdo dumping me on my face, the COs that work in here, they're worried that, with this dude coming over here, I'm working on overtime and doing this weird stuff. Well, they're telling me and my neighbors how foul it was out of line. So, you tend to believe, what these people are telling you, right? But then I started hearing things from other prisoners that certain COs are making threatening remarks. That you better be careful, you don't want to fall and trip and get your teeth knocked. What kind of weirdo? I mean, so to me, this means that, for one thing, that there's people that think the shit's funny, or possibly it could happen again. See what I'm saying? And I'm saying this is coming from other prisoners, not just whites. It's coming from Mexicans. It's coming from other black prisoners. With these people making these remarks, right? And some justify it that I pulled away, like when they try to say I pulled away when I actually was throwing the thermal shirt. And so I'm starting to hear these stories that there are some of these cops think that what happened was a joke or something. Of course, not to my face, but like I said, when I got my 115 and seeing one of the cops that was innocently saying this shit that never happened, when I got the thing, this dude wrote on his report that he heard a commotion. He turned around, seen me on the ground, and be with the seal that tower that slammed me on my back. But he rode me down on my back after he picked me up in the air. He kind of twisted me in the air, and then both used my weight and his weight and mashed me in the ground. That's how I sustained all those injuries with his weight and my weight right on my back. So I got my write-up. When I received my write-up, one of the COs that worked here for years, who actually grabbed my seat after this thing happened, after seeing that report where that you completely lied that I was resisting after I was knocked unconscious, and then they transferred him right after he got a new stint of a year working in here, because they come in here and work a year at a time on contract. He had a new contract, but they moved him because they had him live. Because they had to justify that I was doing something to as weak as it was, to do something, to say something, right? Which is hella weak. But the fact is that you did that live. That's when I decided that I needed to prepare myself for the next eventual incident that I ain't gonna sit in here like no sitting duck. It's one of my friends, an African American that was I was on BDR with for years. Some of the CEOs said something to him, which he's gonna give a statement for. Like I said, I truly believe that people misunderstood us trying to bring people together and took that as some kind of like a surrender or something. We're trying to bring other convicts together, but it ain't like someone's waving some white flag. Okay, on November 22nd, I got inducted to go out to the specialty clinic to get my back aligned by the physical therapist. So we go out there, and I'm in this big room with this dude. And so when I got sat on my face, all these remarks that I've been hearing since August 26th, hearing all these discrepancies with what I'm being told and what other prisoners, like I said, white, black, and Mexican, are telling me. And these witnesses are going to speak up too. And they're like, this is all coming from me. This is coming from my two neighbors. One's a Samoan, one's a Southsider. And see, these dudes are stand-up dudes, right? They're not afraid to speak the truth, regardless of what anybody thinks. So, and like I say, I believe that people misjudged and misunderstood us trying to bring people together. And they think that people want to stay out here on the line so bad that you're going to submit or tap out or be subjected to whatever they think they're going to push on somebody to get people in line not to speak up or something. So when I went out to the specialty clinic on the 22nd of this month, Friday, I noticed certain COs that had made remarks to these prisoners here.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I seen them out there in the specialty clinic, and as I'm in the room with this dude, physical therapist, doing my back, these dudes are showing up in the specialty clinic. There's a big old window in the room that I'm in. I'm in there lit up in this room, and there's this big old door. It's like 2 times wider than a normal door, and they're in the windows watching me. And I see them all down. Now it's dark on their kind of dark on their side, but I'm in like a display case in this big, almost empty room with just a little bed in there and a few things to do physical therapy. And I see him out there the corner of my eye while this dude's trying to help me with my back. And so I believed at that time that something was going down. And that's why when the door opened up, I believed that I had to defend myself. As I'm inside the room with this dude working on my back, I see them out there, shadows over there, and I see there's a lot of COs ganging up out there. And so I couldn't really see that good. I don't know exactly how many people in there, but I got to say there at least was 10 COs in there. But I did recognize some of them that allegedly made remarks. And so I took that as a warning. And like I said, I've been hypervigilant. And I believed, something was going down. Why would 10 COs or thereabouts be down there? I could only see myself down there. I didn't see no other prisoners down there. So I took that as a warning. They would build up. I only took that as a threat. when these, like, I have no idea how many SEALs are supposed to be down there. I don't know none of that, but I'm just going, my mindset is from what happened to me and all the details in between that, right? I mean, so you can't just look at the situation. You got to look at all the facts, and hopefully that warden is going to do that to see what led up to this incident happened. This dude that did this to me still working here on a facility, so he hasn't been fired either. So these pacifier things that I'm being told, this dude was out of line or nothing. Now, and all these remarks I heard, I'm ready for the rest of this time. I'm not going out like a fuck. So when that door opened up, they claim I pulled out a knife and tried to stab several of them. That's what they're going to claim. So, of course, they're going to plead, the innocent part for it. Like I said, they're the ones that were pushing the line, not me. But I just defended myself from going out like that again. They're not tossing me up like that again. So, because after this thing, the warden came and spoke to me personally within an hour after it happened. And the warden told me, he goes, I just worked here. His name's Shultz, Warden Shultz. He goes, I just got this job within a week. I just found out after this incident right here, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. He goes, I'm going to go watch the video of this other CO of slamming you on the face, what I was told. And I said, because look, dude, I'm not gonna let that happen again. I'm gonna do all I can to defend myself in here. And he goes, look, just hold on. Now that this is my job, I'm going in this prison. I'm gonna get to the bottom of all this. I give you my word. Ain't nobody gonna put their hands on you. Please don't try to hurt none of my correctional officers. And let this play out, and you'll see that I'll get to the bottom of this. And so that's where I left it. Because this is the second time they did that to me. Remember, 2019, they tried to backdoor me up at Pelican Bay, and I defended myself out of that one. So, 62 years old, it don't matter. I'm not going to just sit here and let dudes attack me without fighting back. So, we'll see if this new warden is going to get to the bottom of this, and we'll see what happens with these other people that have made these remarks. Like I said, we'll see how this plays out with his warden. If this dude's for real, and gonna turn his place, back into a regular convict prison, man. Instead of letting some weirdos think they're going to run something. And so, as I'm getting my physical therapy, when I'm done and I see these COs who now I take this effect from all the information that I received over all this time, everything that I've been through, the lies on the 115, they'd be my hyper business to breathe, another trick was going down. So when they opened the door, they claimed that I tried to stab one's coming through the door. And there was at least, from what I've seen before I got pepper sprayed, at least 10 of them. Because the one dude that was there, if they're going to push this, and he's the one, and I just spoke to the black dude out there in the yard who made a threat, who happened to be the one that took me out there, that he's the one that was coming through the door. That's why I believe that. That's why they wait for anything. Why they wait for nothing. The main one that I heard was going around saying shit was there. And I had the witness today that just went back to CR, African American, that was going to speak up on my behalf. Now they're going to have to explain that. And so today, I just happened to be on the yard right next to him today after this thing happened. And I go, well, that dude that you told me that was the one that was coming through the door. And he goes, bullshit. I was like, dude, yes, it's got to be in that report. And it's going to be, he goes, call me as your witness, and I'll tell him everything. And I know that's divine intervention. And I'm lucky that I got to talk to him because they actually let him go to CR right there 20 minutes before I got to talk to him, and they took him to CR. Probably that's why they got him away from me. They're like, oh, yeah, he's talking to Ronnie. But it's too late. I got his name and number and everything. That's what I'm saying. Not only I got proof of what's going on. The other people, my two neighbors, a Samoan and a South Sider Mexican, they're speaking up too about everything. Because you have to put, and so like I said, a lot of this I ran down to the warden already. If he's gonna get to the bottom of this and ask himself, why was everybody out there? Maybe he was like, dude, you're not supposed to be out here. Oh, wait a minute, you're friends with that dude? Or you're that dude's buddy that fucking did that to Yandell? How about that? See, I know way more shit than you. I know way more shit than that, too. I know who that dude was running with on the street. I know what motherfuckers was saying on the street, high-fiving each other on the motherfucking street over what happened. Guess what I mean? I know that dude's little group. But they made remarks. Of course, when they come around me, it's completely different.
Yes, the attorney told me now that there was at least 5 people that they mentioned in the police reports. And I'm sure there will be more. That's only probably 5 that they turned over. But as we investigate, I'm sure that we'll find out there was way more than that.